Our city only consists of entrepreneurs, which are from a certain type of mankind. You're not gonna exactly be 7 times boosted and jabbed if you are in this community. You won't exactly like the German government and what they do and what they stand for. We're not talking about ultra-rights activists. We're just talking about normal people from the 90s, right? If you were a normal guy from the 90s, that's where we are,
Give us a quick lowdown on who you are then.
Okay.
I know you've got a good name because I'm a Tim.
You're Tim as well?
Yes, all the best people are Tims.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm Tim. My surname is Stern, which means Stern in German. No, it's different. I'm 28. I'm living in Venezuela on Margarita Island, and since around 2 years, I'm working on building Cryptocity. And the probabilities of success probably were pretty low, but hey, we made it. We are constructing since 33 weeks. We have 50 wonderful families now in our community, and yesterday I got to know probably around 10 more, which are interested and which are going to visit us in Margarita Island, Venezuela.
Wow. So I went to your website. Unfortunately, I couldn't see your talk. I've been recording podcasts constantly. But I assumed you were still in the kind of startup phase. That's not true in the slightest.
We are completely in construction. We are moving a shit ton of earth, around 400,000 tons right now, which translates to about, I did it yesterday in my presentation, around 80 big bends in volume, which we already moved. And we are doing a terrace concept, which means every guy who buys a plot is going to have a nice beach view. And this is the construction site here.
Oh, my God.
It's 13 hectares. And this is how it looks when all the movement is happening in the moment. And now we're going to do streets and walls. And
I saw the renderings of it. It looks very...
It's like an old rendering.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The design's changed since then, has it?
Not the street, not the main design from the houses in the streets, but obviously the houses were just like placeholders. Right now we have houses, and 2 days ago we got named a special economic zone in Margarita Island, just Cryptocity.
Really?
Yeah, we got...
Holy crap, that's actually So does that mean... I mean, like, we're racing ahead here. I wanted to set the scene first, but screw it. Let's just go for it. As a special economic zone, does that mean you can grant your residents those same special permissions? I mean,
special economic zone, first things first, in Margarita means tax-free, 0% for the next 5 till 7 years. Depends on which area you're in. We are also getting or helping all our buyers with the papers, like visa and permanent residency and everything. But we are not that kind of far like Prospera, which had like this sede concept, where they had like their own authority. That's not how it is, and for the moment, just a special economic zone.
But it does mean that your residents don't need to pay tax?
No, 0.
Wow. Blimey.
Wow.
How did you negotiate that then? Easy?
A lot of whiskey, a lot of going out, a lot of... I mean, we had a lot of luck because Margarita itself got declared a special economic zone, so the whole territory, but just different triangles, right? So there's a triangle where you can do restaurants, tax-free. There's a triangle where you can do software development or production or whatever. And... you
better give us a bit of an overview of what and where Margarita Island is. I'm almost certain no one's heard of it, but it sounds like a party island or something, doesn't it?
In the 90s, it was a party island. We had 56 jumbo jets coming every week from all over the world. Then we had the big crisis 2014, 15, and 16. So now you tell me where it is. What do you think?
Well, I know it's in... it's Venezuela.
Venezuela, exactly.
Yes, it's in Venezuela, but... I've been to Venezuela once. I made a film there once. 2003 or something like that. Early 2000s. Made a film about...
The situation was cool.
Yeah. It was. I remember we made a film about Goliath tarantula spiders. Mm-hmm. The kids there used to catch them and eat them. And I remember that you could fill up your car with petrol for about $3 or $4. It was incredible.
Still the case.
Is it still?
I mean, for a Venezuelan guy, they don't pay gasoline at all. They get 200 liters for free. And we as a foreigners, just like a year ago, they changed the price. So we pay 50 cents, but it's still cool. You know.
For what? For 50
For 1 liter.
50 cents a litre.
Yeah, so I have a lot of old VA cars, 80 liters of gasoline tank. You go there and you pay, what, €35 or 40. And if you're Venezuelan or you have a Venezuelan girlfriend, for free.
Really? Blimey. So, yeah, that was my one and only time there. But I don't remember there being any islands. I just thought I was coming to a mainland.
Yeah, Margarita's pretty big. It's about a third of the size of Mallorca. 500,000 people live there. Airport, hotels, clinics, whatever you need. It's all there.
And it looks quite, don't take this the wrong way, but it looks quite barren on that. I know that the area around it, dry and I thought it'd be forested, like jungle or something.
It is, but in the center, in the mountains. The closer you get to the beach, obviously, the drier it gets.
Right.
But yeah, we have a lot of coconut palms and everything, but not the typical forest. It's just more like in the center where the mountains are.
And you've got international flights to where from the island?
In the moment, the only flights which came back are Russia, Warsaw, actually, like on the other half of the
Moscow.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
But they can fly there. How do they? I thought, how do you fly from? I suppose you go all the way across Russia and then.
It's like an endless flight.
But I know that I can't take any Russian airlines at the moment because of the war with Ukraine. They owe me a ticket, actually. I had one ticket to Mongolia that they never reimbursed me.
Oh.
But what was I going to say? So, yeah, what on the map, where is it? And how far off the mainland is it?
It's 40 kilometers off the main coast. And basically in front of, on the top of Venezuela, like Caracas,
Yeah.
It's one of the few islands Venezuela actually has. It's part of the ABC Islands, so next to the ABC Islands, which is Aruba, something else in Curacao. So.
Oh right, Curacao.
Margarita Island. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Isn't Curaçao's got a Bitcoin circular economy, isn't it? Someone told me recently that it's one of the oldest Bitcoin circular economies in Curacao.
I've never been there, no idea.
Really? So come on then, tell me about it from the start. Like how you're a tech guy, obviously, startups and stuff. How did you get the idea to move into? Well, I think real estate's the wrong way to describe it, but you know what I mean, cities.
I mean, we are in the Free Cities podcast, right? So I can talk freely.
Of course, yeah. Anything you want.
No censorship here.
No censorship here.
So I was in Germany. I got fed up of the pandemic and everything, and the Germans started fantasizing about lockdowns and shit. So I had a company there. I'm in informatics from typical German career school. The guy who's configuring a firewall and stuff. So. Like it is, like a lot of times when you're learning your new skill, you're getting used like as a slave in your company, right? So they've sent me cleaning stuff and everything. So after my 4-year period, I was like, you know what? I've got my diploma now, and I ended my job on day one, basically. So I got hired after I got my diploma, and I terminated the same day, and walked out and started my company on day one. Like
do many people do that out of interest?
I don't know. I think you gotta be crazy, because I didn't have any backups and any savings. I was just like, okay, that's not how I'm gonna live. I'm not gonna clean printers for the rest of my life. That's not gonna happen. So I walked out, I funded my company, and I started calling all the clients from the old company, which I still knew, because we were basically like a printer as a service company, like, the big copies and everything. But when I was there, the clients always asked me, hey, can you go and help me with the Wi-Fi, or my TV is not working or whatever, because you're like the tech guy, right? Yeah. So I had like 80 numbers. I called them all up, and a day later I had like 30 clients. So that's how it started. This was several years. I had an employee then or two, but then I met the German tax office, my first time in my life, right? Because I was earning 500 euros a month as an apprentice, for my job. And then I made suddenly 10 grand a month. So huge jump, right? 20x. And I didn't know how to manage me quite, and then I got a huge fine, and you have to pay and everything, and it was like so much money. What the fuck is happening, And then the pandemic hit, and people started fantasizing about you can't get out of your home, and you have to wear the stupid mask all day, and please take the 6th and the 7th booster. And I said, this is all going in the fucking wrong direction. So my dad emigrated in 1998 to Margarita Island, so I already knew it. I was there every summer as a kid, and I was calling him up and was like, hey, how's the situation over there? And he's like, what situation?
Really?
And there's nothing here. The only thing they do when you come here, they check you at the airport, and that's it. Once you're inside of Margarita, nobody gives a flying shit. Nothing.
Check what, though? What were they checking on the way in? Just your
passport?
They
just did like a PCR test.
Oh, okay.
Well, but it's fairly looked like those little baking aroma ampules. You know how they look, like those classical, like from your grandmother, citrus ampule for baking aroma. I was pretty sure they took these ampules and just charged $50. It's just Venezuela,
I had a similar experience in El Salvador during the pandemic.
Yeah,
we had it was all a show. We had to sit, and I had my whole family there. And one time we needed a PCR test, and the guy came in. It's a bit like that meme of the guy patting down people going into a festival. Have you seen that one? Right? They came up with a thing, and they went like they touched it on the edge of your nose and put it in the thing. But I mean, the whole thing was just bizarre. Anyway, that's a whole.
It was just a bullshit scam, And I mean, they made money. I mean, for the Venezuelans, it was cool, $50 from everybody. But once you were inside, nobody gave a flying fuck. So it was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go there, and maybe I'm gonna take some vacations. Let's go 3 months. I'm an IT guy. I can work remotely. So I've gone pissed off to Margarita. And after a while, I got into like the Caribbean rhythm, right? So don't be stressed all day, and hey, take a walk at the beach, because I'm in German, I'm under electricity all day, bam, 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 and this and this and this and this has to be organized. And then I got to know the Margarita way of, hey, let's drink a coffee, let's walk at the beach, and start your day not working. This cost me a lot to adapt this kind of lifestyle, but walking half an hour in the morning at the beach really grounds you down. So I started to do this, and then I started to think about, man, do I really have a better life in Europe? Because that's what they told us, right? If you go to a third world country, you're gonna be poor, and you don't have electricity, and it's gonna be criminal, and you will never have the same life quality as in Germany. But it felt different. I mean, everybody was friendly to me. Nobody. I felt more endangered in Germany, in the main street. All the junkies and all the immigrants now looking at you with a knife. In Margarita, everybody was nice and friendly. Everything was way cheaper. I didn't have to pay taxes. People actually wanted me there. I opened a bar, some kind in space, and then the TV came and made a show about it because I'm opening a bar, and I was like,
which TV? What, the local TV?
The local main TV station, like the Televisión Venezuela, like the big channel.
Why? Not many expats
I have
there.
no fucking idea why. Who gives a flying fuck if you're opening a bar in London or in Germany? I didn't even ask for it. They came, with all the translation for the people which cannot hear, like in the top left, on the bottom right. They made like a half an hour documentary about my stupid bar.
I mean, what was were there not many expats on the island or something?
Nobody was there.
Oh, okay.
And there's still not really a lot of people which doing a lot of stuff. So imagine what happened later when we did Cryptocity, but we're going to talk later about it. Yeah, they came, they made like a show, and then I got to some radio stations, and they were asking me, Tim, why are you coming as a German from Germany and investing here? We don't understand it, We want to go to Germany, And then I was like, yeah, people, but Germany isn't what it used to be. It's not a country where milk and honey is flying or coming down from the trees for you to just collect it. I mean, you're living like a slave robot if you are not somehow a doctor or having a great job. If you're having a traditional minimum income job as a waiter, or running around in a restaurant or in a supermarket, you're fucked. I mean, what do you pay for rent? 700-800, and what's your net income with sueldo minimum, with minimum wage, like 1,200, 1,300 after taxes? So they always look at me. Mira, Tim, pero 1,800 está mucho. Look, Tim, but 1,800, that's so much money. I say, yeah, Venezuela maybe, but in Germany that's nothing, And a lot of Venezuelans I know, they go to Europe and they come back after half a year because they're like, shit, I imagine that like really, really differently, like I thought you guys lived the best life, but man, I had like 5 homeless people in front of my door and they wanted to sell me heroin, and I don't have money, and they don't let me work, and it's like completely mind-blowing, I said, yeah, I always tell Venezuelan people, you guys are blind for what you have. It's like a German living in the Schwarzwald. That's where I'm coming from. Beautiful scenery and thousands of pines, and like perfect scenery, like from a painter, but you're just blind to it because you have it every day. But everybody who comes there is like, wow, it's crazy. But yeah, your question. Why am I?
Well, no, you're still doing it.
Yeah,
we're on the way there. So you've got a bar now.
Yeah, I have several companies. I have 5-6 companies. But the first one, I had the IT company. I went off to Margarita, and then I was like, okay, if I'm going to stay here, I got to do something, right? So what I was doing back then and still doing, not anymore, but I was pretty good at creating websites, right? So beautiful websites, which are mobile optimized and ranking good on Google and everything. That was my business back then. So I opened a company, Margarita Marketing, and I started hiring Venezuelan programmers because you get a programmer for like $250 back then, in a month. And suddenly I had like 5 employees, doing stuff for random clients, like managing an Instagram or doing funnels or websites. And I was like, oh, cool, that works great. So let's scale it up. Then I had like 20, 30 employees half a year later. Then I went off to Germany for some business, and I saw the camera on the business. Like nobody did anything. As soon as I was away from the office, they started playing games, and drinking beer in the office and watching movies. I mean, it's kids, right? They're like 20, 25, and once the boss is away, nice, So I got back like 3 weeks later, I got pissed. I closed the whole company down, fired everybody. I was like, you're so stupid. You have the best jobs here ever. I'm like the most chillest dude ever. I mean, if you're working in Venezuela and earning that kind of money, in Venezuela they get maybe half or a third. I paid them in the end like 300, 350, $400 a month. But normal levels are like 100. So I fired everybody and I said, you're stupid. You had the most chillest job ever, but if you cannot do the most basic things, like if your client is not calling me and saying that you're not doing anything, I don't give a flying shit what you do. If you go home at 3 p.m. but your client's happy, cool, perfect. Like literally, this is your guy, make him happy. I write the invoice. No. So I closed it down, and I opened another company, and I changed the concept. This is one I still have. It's my biggest one. It's called Rent a Pro, which means rent a programmer. Instead of me doing project work, I rent out full-time employees. They just, my job is bringing them into the office with a bus and giving them food and kind of controlling them to their work. But in the end, they get integrated external, like equipos teams, right? So they have like their cubicles, and I love gaming. I love gaming chairs, so I have like 30 gaming chairs in the office, and everybody thinks we're like an esports team because of the 2 monitors and everything, but it's not like this. And I said, no, it's a programmer's renting company. And then they work for the client, and I just write an invoice to Germany, like for the senior ones, we rent out for 2,000 a month, and the junior ones 1,000 a month, which is still cheap. For in Germany, you pay like 7, 8, 9. I mean, but in the end of the day, PHP is PHP, JavaScript is JavaScript. Doesn't matter if you're from India, Pakistan, Venezuela, whatever. If they are able to communicate with the team, so they know English. Yeah, that's the biggest one I still have. Apart from that, I have a really great crypto academy in Germany, which I started when I came to Venezuela, because I had people starting to ask me about this coin stuff you're doing. I was on my ledger all day, last boy around DeFi. It was awesome, man. Over-collateralized loans here and buying Luna there, and it was crazy. And somebody asked me, or annoyed me for like a month. Like, Tim, can you grab me some videos? Can you please explain it to me this way and this way? And I said, okay. So he grabbed some videos, and I've sent it to him. But the guy was not interested in the content. He was an online marketer. He wanted to see if I'm capable of talking in front of the camera. So he was like, Tim, that's awesome. We're gonna make a product out of that. And I was like, me, a coach? Nah, forget it. And like Zoom calls and everything, and explaining people. I don't know. He was like, yeah, I'm going to do everything. You just have to do what I say. I said, okay. So I produced the first version of Crypto Champions Academy in Germany 2 years ago. And today we have about 6,000 students inside there. I still do my weekly mastermind calls every Monday. It's about 40, 50 people, but this is called Investment Accelerator. It's like a bigger group with people which have more stuff going on. And this is actually how our topic today started, Cryptocity, because out of this group, I had people started calling me up, Tim, it's getting unbearable in Germany. Like, what is this Margarita where you are? Is this like a pizza, or do you have electricity? And I said, no, I'm riding my dynamo bike here while we're having a Zoom call. That's a stupid question. Of course, we have electricity. Yeah, can I visit you? So they started visiting me. And people stayed there. They're like, Tim, this is a paradise. Real estate, an apartment, 100 square meter for what, $18,000? Like an apartment, buying, not renting, buying. And I was like, yeah. God damn it. And they started buying, the houses here and there, one in the north, the other in the south. And then we were like geologically really separated. So what does a good German guy do when he's an expert? He's creating a Stammtisch, which means like a weekly reunion on a big table, where all the Germans are going to talk about what they like and what they don't like, like the typical German stuff to do in the expats or in the outer circles. And then, I don't know, on one of those nights, somebody was like, we should like live together. And I was like, yeah, we could buy like an apartment tower, right? So everybody has like one apartment, like 30 units, and everybody was in one. Yeah, but who wants to live in the third floor? Boring. So we started to fantasize with this idea of buying a plot together and actually constructing something, right? And after some weeks, I called him, the other dude, I was like, man, I got to talk to you about this idea with the city, He said, yeah, I still have it in my head as well. But who's going to construct it? How would we do a city? And This was 2 years ago. And today we are where we are.
And so the stage you're at now, did you say 50 families are living
50. 50 sold plots. No, we're not 50 families yet. We have 50 entrepreneurial families, which are in the moment getting rid of their companies, selling everything they have and they own, getting out of Germany's like handcuffs. You have to do some special tricks to get out of there without being absolutely wrecked. And this takes around 1-2 years, a process like this, to get out of Germany without getting stripped of your whole net worth. And after that, we're going to start building houses in 2026.
So at the moment, you're making roads, making terraces. You were talking about.
Yeah, we're doing earth movement because it was a really mountainy thing going on. The biggest mountain we had there was 28 meters over the sea level, and we stripped that down to 12 now. So 16 meters of like pure earth and rock, and we flattened it out. And after every street, it goes down like a staircase, so you don't have to see your neighbor's house wall basically from your terrace.
So how did you find someone to do all that kind of side of it? If you never built, is it
pure luck?
Yeah,
absolute pure and utter luck.
Like, what experience did you have in city building in this at all?
Zero.
Anything property? Anything?
No. I have no idea of construction.
What about the governance side of it, the special economic zone side of it? That doesn't matter, I suppose, because you're kind of already part of it, right?
We're part of it, right?
Yeah.
But it came after a year after we started. So I'm doing this with my dad. He's the other half, basically, from our side. And we started with 2 Venezuelan construction guys he knew, right? And they pulled up there with 5, 6 little machines. It was really slow and everything. And the crazy story, my Venezuelan business partner today, he's one of the biggest builders in Venezuela. He did streets in Caracas, like big bridges, like multi-billion-dollar projects, huge ass hotels. He did a lot of urbanization, so he's like the perfect guy. But as today, if Venezuela would be in a good state, I would never have had access to a guy like this, because 20 years ago, this guy owned 10 private planes and 6, 7, 8 yachts, and was in all the world, and in America and Miami, and he had a big theme park and everything. I mean, this was other next level, right? But today, as the Venezuelan construction sector is lying completely breaking down, right? Nobody had work, so I had access to this guy. But just because we pretended to be Russian billionaire investors and we want to see his theme park. This was 2.5 years ago. I had a German friend here, and my business partner still owns a theme park, right, in Margarita, and it's a ghost town because it's closed 10 years ago. But you literally go there and you still see all the machines and the computers and the even the registers, right, with all the money inside and the vinyls and the bars, and it's closed. So on this day I was there, and I asked a security guy if he can go in there. We pretended to be Russian billionaires because he didn't speak Spanish anyway. So I said to my friend, he was 40 something, he's a Russian billionaire, maybe he's gonna buy it. Can we do a tour? So the guy who owns it, just for pure luck, was there, which is the guy who did the construction and everything in Venezuela and had all the planes. He said, hi, my name's Louis and everything, and no problem, you guys can look at it, right? So we were at the theme park, and we looked at it and we exchanged numbers. And when we were looking for a plot, 2.5 years later, we came into contact because Louis wants to renovate his hotel and his theme park. And he said, hey, I have land to sell because I want to renovate my hotel. You know anybody? And I was like, if this is not a signal from the universe, I don't know as well. Right?
He had land on Margarita, though. That's
next to his hotel. That's where we are today, right? Next doors.
Yeah, that's destiny.
Bought 13 hectares there, and we just bought more next to it, and we're going to do a port as well, and we bought more and more and more, and now it's growing. But it was destiny. So. And without him, we couldn't even have managed it, because this guy is so well connected. He is covering my back whenever somebody's trying to start shit, He's always knows the boss and the guy above the guy who wants to start shit. So
before we go on, what is the current situation in Venezuela, economically, let's say?
We hit the most lowest point in 2017, I would say, 16, 17. You cannot compare Margarita and Venezuela. It's not the same. Margarita is a bubble. Venezuela mainland is way bigger and in a way worse shape. Margarita always has been the window to Venezuela. So that where all the tourists came from, started to leave their money there and then going to the mainland years later when they settled up in Margarita. But Margarita was always the first point where people came and settled in. So Margarita was always better. Still though, it was not in perfect condition, obviously. In 2016-17, they still had problems, especially the Venezuelan people. One good thing about Margarita is even if you have $0 and no money, you go and you start to go fishing, and you will always have something to eat, because the fishermen in Margarita, they always have to eat, right? There's always abundance naturally, mangoes and salad and everything. You can just there's so many mango trees with thousands of tons, just flying around, and then the cows eat it or whatever. So it's a natural abundance. But economically it was bad 2017, and that's when we sneaked in around 1920, started buying up real estate with the play that Margarita's gonna get better, and that's exactly what happened. A lot of money is flowing in from Russia now, from Poland, the Chinese, some some Indonesian guys are here, and we as the Germans are trying to play a part in this big scheme as well. But come on, I mean, Russian guys and Indonesian billionaires, we have small lights against them, right? But a lot of money is flowing in. We are just waiting, like the rabbit in front of the hole, basically, that direct flights are gonna come back. That's the moment when you lit the candle, and then everything's gonna go crazy again. I mean, it started with Moscow bringing Russian tourists, but in my opinion, they're pretty cheap Russian tourists. It's all inclusive and everything, you know. They pay their all inclusive shit, and then they don't even go out because they don't want to pay $1 for a beer, you know. That's the kind of tourists coming now. When we got European tourists back, like Germans, English, you know, maybe some Italian ones, not with all inclusive, but just flights. These are the tourists you want to have on Margarita Island. This is where money comes in, and Margarita is pretty dependent on tourism, right? So when this is going to happen, it's going to go crazy again. Up until then, we just keep building and buy, keep building and buy, and sometimes the cycle is at the slowest point now.
Is there, so at your place, is there an ideology behind it, or is it just is there any kind of ideological bent to it?
Our city only consists of entrepreneurs, which are from a certain type of mankind, you know. You're not gonna exactly be 7 times boosted and jabbed if you are in this community. You won't exactly like the German government and what they do and what they stand for. We're not talking about ultra-rights activists. We're just talking about normal people from the 90s, right? If you were a normal guy from the 90s, that's where we are, you know? Like, I don't believe everything the government says. No, I don't wanna get jabbed, and I have a nice middle class business going on, you know. Normal, good people, like, you know, next door neighbors, Mr. Müller, you know, a nice Mercedes, who had this nice little middle class business. That's exactly where we are. I mean, we have some more on the top, and we have our craziest one is like 100 million net worth, but the most of them are just like, you know, asset millionaires. Bringing wife and family, you know, saving them from Europe, saving them from Germany, bringing the talent as well. They want to start new businesses there. We have a job matrix of around 35 different business backgrounds we're trying to combine. And our ideology is that get the fuck out of Europe and save your wealth, save your net worth. And we're going to be on that island when the world's going to burn. And we're going to probably be pretty happy there. And I think most of Europe is going to be pretty unhappy. It's sad, but you cannot save everybody. So
how do you enforce that? Or enforce is the wrong word, but how do you make sure that the people that end up there are the people you want?
We have a group votation. Everybody who wants to buy a plot has to survive the votation, and the votation is hard. So first things first, I get to know somebody. I have the idea that this could be an interesting guy. So what I do is like I do an interview with him about an hour, you know. What's your beliefs? Where you from? What's your business? What do you do? What's your wife? Where you live? And so like I'm doing an interrogation almost, you know, like, hey, what's the guy, you know? Then I send this to the group, and the group's going to watch it, and then they're going to vote yes or no.
Really?
Yeah. And if you're going to have more than 75% yeses, then you're accepted. And if not, you cannot buy.
Really? Amazing.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah, you're telling me. I mean, you know, that's I wouldn't say it's a novel way of doing it, but it's an interesting way, because providing your original group pot of talent is good, then you should maintain it. But if you've got a problem already, you're going to magnify it, aren't you? But that's interesting, really interesting.
I had several situations where I would have loved to take the money, because obviously we're burning through $40,000 a week. But if I have a bad feeling, I say it's not 100% fit. It's like an 80% fit. But some of the things he said, I don't like it, you know. Or maybe he has the money, but apart from it, he's a really boring guy. or an old guy, doing his pension. Hey man, we wanna do business together. We wanna get crazy. Most of my guys are like 45, 50. If you're on the upper end of age, and people tell me, hey, I'm gonna do my pension and I wanna drink margaritas all day. Cool, do it. Buy an apartment next door somewhere, and then you can enjoy your pension. But we are here to change the island. We are here to bring it forward, to create wealth, to preserve it in a special kind of way, because it's such a diamond. And once the international people are gonna understand what it is, right, we're gonna be flooded of people. And I don't want the same to happen for Margarita as like what happened, for example, in Medellin, Colombia, El Poblado, where you have only disgusting old guys, and all the whores on the street, and everything gets like super like only drugs and everything. I hate that, Margarita, for me, I want it to be a place where your family, your children are safe, where you can do great business, where you enjoy great beaches, good food. Monsanto is banned in Venezuela for like 10 years. I think it's going to be like a little fortress, one of the small spaces in the world where you can like go and not being absolutely wasted.
What about, do you want another one of those waters, by the way?
That's good.
What happens when someone wants to sell then?
We as a group had a votation about this. It was rule number 7. What is going to happen if somebody wants to sell its house to, for example, he gets to know an Indian woman and he's unbelievably in love and now he wants to emigrate to India, right? What do I know what happens with 100 people in 5 years? So we as a group have a right to buy it first. If we as a group decide we do not want it, if we as a group decide we do not want it, he can sell it freely. But the original rules of votation still are in place. Of course, we can't enforce it by law, but because he has been pre-filtered and checked, I think when he's gonna go, he's still gonna stick with the rules, right? So if you bring somebody, hey, sell it to whoever you want, but bring it to me. We wanna get him to know, and if we do not want him, we have ways as well to let him know that we do not want him. Nobody's gonna buy a house in a group where nobody wants him, right?
So you have a charter as per se, or is it's a DAO, right?
It's a DAO. It's
right.
like a digital charter.
Yeah, it is a digital charter. And how much of it was there from the beginning? How much of the DAO is being nothing? No.
It's on me.
So every time you have to make a new decision, you incorporate it in the DAO.
Yes, that's how it's going to be in the future. For now, we are really boring and using Telegram groups and Google Forms. But I'm working on the DAO. It's a pretty long concept, or a pretty long way of programming everything like you want it. But basically, what's going to happen is you buy a plot, you get a little NFT. Obviously, it's going to be a normal buy and sell contract as well. But there's like a little addition, you get an NFT in your wallet, which is like a key for accessing a dashboard. In this dashboard, you see everything what's happening. Also, the new votation idea is like, hey, we have vote number 146. Somebody wants to have a bigger beach pool, whatever. You can click on yes or no. Depending on how many square meters you have a different voting weight. If you have like big plots and you're one of the earliest guys, it's a little algorithm, depends on how long are you in there and how many square meters you have. Now it's combining lot those, and then you're gonna vote, and a vote takes about 10 days. If we do not have more than 66% of voting participation, the vote gets and the vote is gonna be nullified, exactly, because we have like I took the Swiss as an example. You have to have 2/3 of people voting participation, and you have to have over 50% of yes. So that's gonna vote. For now, we're just voting in the Telegram group. We just voted for our first rule manifest in the beginning of October. We had 42 voting points where we had a big Zoom call, and yeah, we voted basically every little shit. I mean, we're Germans, right? We have to vote everything. So, but I was pretty satisfied with the result, because the result was pretty homogeneous. We had several questions where we had 100% yes. several others where we had like 98% yes, which is for me a signal that my filter is working, right? So for example, one of the questions was, do we need a stage in Cryptocity on the beach club so we can have politicians there, have good business people there, and do business events, right, with live music and everything? 100% yes. Second question was, how many events could we do per month, per year, per quarter? And 85% voted for one event per month, which was exactly my idea, that we have like a business Monday or a business week. So we're doing like bringing together everybody who moves the island in Margarita, like the guy who owns all the supermarkets, the guy owning the airplane lines, the airlines, right? The other guy who has like all the yachts and the ports, and bringing like the 10, 20, 30 most interesting people together in Cryptocity and having a top quality standard and the beach club, because Venezuelans, they don't have like the European eye, right? I had several discussions with people constructing, and I see a wall outlet, a wall socket, like at 87 degrees, right? And me as a German, I'm getting really excited about this, anxious about this, yeah. And then the Venezuelan looks at you and says, "What's your problem? It's working, man." It's, yeah, it is, but it has to be like on level. And when we do like a top quality beach club standard, I think we're gonna have all the interesting people there.
So where does the capital come from for the shared resources in there then? I take it you're selling the plots, and are people then building according to rules, the charter? Yes. Is there a charter for building as well?
Yeah, of course. We don't have a lot of rules. We're from Germany. We're happy that we don't have a lot of rules there now. Our rules are we can construct 2 stories plus terrace, because we are close to the airport. You cannot build up higher. Second thing is we have different house models where we're trying to choose from, right, to bring down the prices. And the third thing is that we have a rule of the state which says we cannot have more than 50 people per hectare. So we can have in total around 500 people on 10 hectares. So that's more than enough. And apart from that, it's pretty free. You can do what you want.
And sorry, back to the shared spaces.
What will
you have there? I mean, are you going to do, how much of a city kind of situations you're going to be? You're going to have a school, you're going to have a hospital, medical facility, or you're going to,
We're going to have, first things first, the beach club, where there's going to be the main attraction for all the people. We're having a centro comercial, which is a shopping center, where we have like a supermercado, like a supermarket, not a big one, but, where you have the most important stuff. We're going to have fitness and physiotherapy. That's the thing people wanted. We're going to have a 360 degrees glass office on the second floor, because people want to work somewhere, right? And home office is boring all day, and that's where we're going to have an office. We are probably gonna do something new on the port, which is still in construction or in designing. I mean, I'm already constructing on the old part for the 100 people, but we just bought 20 hectares more, so we're going to be in 300 families instead of 100. There's going to be probably more, like restaurants and malls and shops and everything. Regarding to schools, we didn't think about schools because the next school, which is pretty good, is like 15, 20 minutes away. Private schools where they also teach German and Spanish and Russian and English and whatever you need. Hospital, we're not probably gonna have one next doors, not from us but from our business partner, because his concept is changing in a moment. And we're gonna have a fire station and an ambulance car, obviously. Also, if we have a port, we're gonna have our own police, which is pretty cool, because they have to check the passports right from the boats. So one of the things they said us, we have to construct is like a little house, for the police and the military men, that equals that we're gonna have 24/7 police there, which is pretty cool. I mean, our own police, hello, like talking about security. I don't know if there's more security than that. Obviously, it's a gated community where you have like security people at front as well, but we also have real police then inside there, which is pretty cool.
And what about the funding of it? Where do you get the how do you fund the non-private spaces, the public spaces?
Yeah. Are you into crypto? You are, right?
I'm into Bitcoin.
Okay.
I'm not into crypto.
You know what's a DAO?
I know what a DAO is, yes.
Great. So DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. DAO. It's not exactly working with Bitcoin, but the principle is something. I'm on your side here. I love Bitcoin and everything. I just didn't want to call it Bitcoin City because it's in El Salvador. I don't want to call it that way.
Yeah, it's not. But
it's not there yet. Yeah. Of course, I didn't yet do it. Okay, but where's the money coming from and how are we gonna administrate? So first things first, one of the most annoying things in Germany when you co-own real estate is something called the Eigentümervollversammlung, which means the reunion of all the people owning something, right? Where they do like their talks all day, and should we do the roof or should we paint it white or black or red or blue? Who's gonna pay the additional cost? Blah blah blah. I have a trauma of that, so I decided to get rid of the problem of public costs. So how are we going to do that? We're going to set up in the DAO, we are going to set up a voting, and I already voted it. We said we're going to have a one-time payment of €7 per square meter you bought, okay? But once the city is up and running. With this €7, I calculated for the original Cryptocity, it's going to be 85,000 square meters of sellable land times 7. So we're going to end up with around 500,000, 600,000 euros in a pot. Okay, this pot we are going to use it to invest, staking, lending in crypto and shit. Also small apartments, also going into private loaning, also going into whatever. Our goal is to create around 10-15% per year. This is absolutely easy in Venezuela. If you buy real estate, you flip it, next year you made 50%. But we're going to have somebody managing that pot. And if you calculate now $600,000, 15% per year, it's close to 100K, and this time it's like 90. And we calculated for the original Cryptocity, for the other it's a different calculation, but we need around €8,000 of running costs per month. This includes the 3 people at the door, doing 3 shifts. This includes the gardener. This includes the, little paint on the street here and there, This includes the people at the beach club serving the drinks. This includes the people at the mini market. This includes the people at the fitness center. This includes the guy and administration for the office and all the running costs of personnel and small repairs are gonna be done like this. If we're gonna have something bigger, obviously we're gonna have a rotation. Hey, the main water pump died, whatever. It's 10,000, so 100 people. Everybody puts in 100, so nobody's gonna give a shit because quality of people is good, right? So there's not gonna be a lot of problems. This is where the main money for the running costs is coming from. For all the construction, obviously, we privately bought a plot of land with our own money, and from what we sell as plots, this is 100% used to start construction, right? Everybody always asks me, Tim, did you already make yourself a multi-millionaire from your project? And I said, it would be nice. It's absolutely the contrary case. The company owes me $200,000. My dad, because we are always pre-financing, because I'm pretty strict with the people. My dad is already annoyed from me. Say, hey man, I have somebody, who wants to buy a plot for 150,000, and I look at it. No, I don't want it. Oh, look at him, I don't want him. But why? And I said, we need the money. And I said, yeah, but look at this. No, this won't work. This won't work. The group is gonna deny it. So we actually prefer pre-financing some weeks instead of having like bad eggs in the pot, right? So in the moment, we are pretty keen to get new people on board. That's why I was so happy to be on the Free Cities conference, because I got to know so many great people. This was like heaven for me, right? I'm talking to 9 or 10 people a day. We disqualify 8, 2 get voted, and maybe 1 gets in, that's the thing. But if I would have been here with the people at Free Cities conference, this would be like, you're in, you could be voted in, yeah, you work, yeah, this is good, like a heaven of a target group of good people, right? And a lot of them are going to visit me now in December. They already showed interest, and pretty happy to get them on board.
Wow. Gosh, it's an interesting project. It's a kind of, it's... what's the time scale on all this stuff?
2026, we are going to have the first construction of the houses, and up until 2025, I want to have all the infrastructure done.
Which is what, mainly roads or any buildings? What do you class the kind of beach house as, for example, or whatever, the beach club?
This is how the votation process looks. Thomas Wiefel, he has two. It's German anyway.
Am I allowed to? There's not any sensitive information.
No, but it's in German anyway. You cannot read it. I don't know if you can read it.
So this is a guy that wants to move.
Yeah, and I describe here. He has two kids. He's divorced. He's an engineer. He has a patent on some ceramic things back in the day in the 90s, and he's fed up of Germany, and he wants to come there. He's an engineer, and whatever he wants to do.
That's incredible.
And then the group says 100% yes, so he got voted in.
Really?
But most of them knew him anyway, Or he had Mr. Gerd. He was an ex-captain at the Marine, and today he's an interim manager, and also got voted in. A lot of.
And where do most of these people hear about your project?
Oh, it's a lot. We are absolutely unknown. I'm just starting to actually go out on the internet. I'm pretty strong on Instagram. So Instagram and YouTube, these are my channels. I have on Instagram 14.4 thousand, but it's still, it's nothing, right? I had German TV here doing a documentary, Abenteuerleben, which means adventure of life, right? And I did like a half an hour documentary about me. And I was really excited because I thought this is gonna be seen by millions of people. Yeah, but which target group is gonna watch TV at 4 p.m. on a Wednesday, right?
Well, also, I hate to say it, but you need the number of people that know about your project isn't as important necessarily as the quality of the people that know about your project. Like you say, you can come to somewhere like this. We had 350 attendees this year, I think. But you're very high value attendees. Yeah. And that number, if you want to go out into the real world and meet 350 libertarians interested in free cities, it'll take you, it's probably 350,000 people or something, It is. I've learned that one on this podcast because we have, I've got friends with Bitcoin podcasts that started and then rose meteorically. Yeah. Whereas we've risen slowly and organically and getting bigger and bigger and bigger because the industry's smaller. It's still a niche thing, Of course. But obviously, we all think especially, 2020 was an absolute wake-up call for so many people, and I wouldn't be surprised if something similar didn't happen. These little sort of flashpoint events which kick people into sort of like reality. Yeah. But so are you is it just Germans?
No, it's an international group of a lot of different people. But most of them are German because I'm German and I know a lot of Germans. But we also have an Italian and Hollandaise guy who does snow, by the way. I love him. Michael, he's the coolest guy ever. He does snow all around the world, like artificial snow. He's going to Thailand. He's the only guy doing this on all the world. And when they do like ski events in the hot cities, he comes there with all the machines and everything. It's awesome. He's my Dutch guy. I have Austrians, Swiss. I have a Canadian guy.
And what's the kind of local situation there, as in locals? Like, how many people did you say live on the island?
500,000.
Oh, right. So it's pretty vast, yeah. Cool. So what you're doing is of limited interest to the rest of the island, is it? Or
no, we are number one interest for everybody.
Oh,
because, right. I cannot go out there anymore without getting interviews and photos and give me a signature and everything because it's double-sided. Half of the island, I would say, hates me as a devil in person, and the other half of the island wants to marry me to her daughter. Because literally what we do, we are going to kickstart the economy, right? So we are going to bring a lot of money and a lot of talent to the island. Upper class or middle class people from the island know that and understand that, and that's why they love us. People which are a little bit more on the easier or more simpler side, they have fear that we are gonna expand, and stealing their fisherman's hut, and they're gonna have to move because of us and all that bullshit, I have theories on social media where they write, I'm gonna do a German military base, I'm a Russian spy, I'm not even German, I'm a Venezuelan because my accent is so good, they don't even buy now anymore that I'm German. It's pretty crazy. So the locals, everybody has an opinion. It's not like they don't care. Everybody has an opinion about us. But about actually buying there, it doesn't make sense because A, for the economy is not strong enough. But B, if you just want to buy a house as an investment, you have to buy used up real estate in Margarita. Because as I just said, you can buy a 2-store family house, close to the beach, 300 square meters for 100K. Doesn't make sense to build a new house where you pay around 1,000, 1,200 per square meters. It makes sense for us because we're doing a community and we are going to live together and we're going to invest together. But apart from that, normal real estate prices are cheaper if you buy it used up.
Do they have, how are property rights on the island for your average local? I know that from other projects and from being in El Salvador and, around some of the places that had a large influx of income especially since the Bitcoin legal tender thing. And a lot of those guys were living in properties that weren't really, they just built them there. And they were, I know stories of people getting disenfranchised because there's no legal contract and having the land and stuff.
Those houses, there's a special word for it, I forgot it, but some of those houses are existing. If they bought it if they just constructed it somewhere randomly 20 years ago, I think the former president legalized it at some point in time. But if it would go head to head and you buy this plot of land and you have this guy there, you're gonna have a problem because I don't know the word, but you have to get some kind of an agreement. You cannot just buy it and kick him out. It's not gonna work because he's gonna denounce you and then he's gone and then it looks bad, What you can do is trying to buy them out, you take 10 grand and buy yourself a little apartment in the city, which probably most of the times they're better off then. But I would try to avoid buying a plot where you have a guy living since 8 years in his hut, which he's built there, and not good.
Yeah, I know. I think sometimes in projects like this, those kind of things just appear out. It's very hard to keep everyone happy, as you know, and like you see, half the island is displeased. Yeah. Mainly, I've seen this a lot in Honduras. Often it's because of complete misinformation, like in the case of Honduras, what's going on in Roatan and prosperous, it's a government whipping up absolute hatred for a project as a sort of political punchbag. But there are cases of locals not wanting to have this thing built right next to them. I don't know what you're supposed to do about that because it's like there is no way to keep everyone happy in these situations. But
we chose a strategic, interesting location. So we have 5 till 7 minutes from the airport. The next city, El Yaque, which is all the tourist hotspots, where the tourist hotspot is, it's around 5 minutes from us as well. So there's, I would say, 2-3 kilometers of beach and coasts in between us. Left to us is nothing. Right to us is our business partner. Left to us, we just buy it. So we don't have any Russians building, nightclubs next to us. So I wanted to avoid that. Or whatever nationality, I don't give a shit. But and from the next city, like the main city, we are 20 minutes away. So we are kind of enough away, so we don't annoy nobody, and we have room to expand. But we are also not an hour's drive away from something. So it's 5 to 10 minutes and you are somewhere where you can do something, right? So we are pretty good. The only beef we recently had was with the fishermen. They tried to cut me up on social media. They did a video from a fisherman, driving by. the Germans, they are gonna destroy all the reefs, and they're destroying the fish, and they're destroying everything, No, it's a running situation. We are perfectly respecting the law. The law says you cannot construct closer than 80 meters to the shoreline, just exactly because of this cost, not destroy the reefs, right? And the same fishermen doing the videos, they fish always in the reefs and destroying all the reefs. So imagine Venezuela, what a funny country this is. So this guy uploads this, right? And makes a denunciation with the head of the, what called the traduction would be water police maybe, okay? Like ocean police, like ocean environmental police, okay? So next day we have the Secret Service at our plot of land, the police, the Guardia, the military, and the ocean police, right? So they come and visit and inspect and say, hey, the Germans didn't do anything wrong, like they respected everything, so everything is good. So the guy, this was the funny stuff. My point is, so the guy demanded that the same fisherman, he wrote him a letter saying, you have to do another video saying sorry to the Germans, or you're gonna go to jail for false disinformation, right? So Venezuela is sometimes a land where you beef via social media. This is absolutely sick if you think about it. But yeah, he did his video saying sorry to the Germans.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was enjoying this so hardcore.
How does it work with things like residency and passports and that kind of stuff?
If you are alone for yourself, you don't know nobody, forget it. I have Germans working since like 2 years and getting like a visa and everything. We, thank God, now have a good connection there. When I say this is a good guy who's coming to Cryptocity, it's accelerated pretty fast. But if you don't know nobody, I was fighting for my papers 2 years before I was known.
I mean, is it a case of residency, or is it a local passport, or what? Like,
no, you can go as a German, European, whatever, British. You can go there 90 days anyway without a visa, right? And you can extend to 90 days. I think again, like you can stay there like 6 months per year. But for staying permanently there, you need a visa, which is the easiest way is the visa de rentista, which means old guys visas, right? You just have to prove you're getting like $2,000 a month from somewhere, like as a pension, right? But you do this and nothing happens. You're like, okay, you submitted all the papers and then nothing happens. So what they expect is a little bit of acceleration fee, but then they still don't do shit. So the next thing is a visa of investors visa, which is the ones we are getting. They are valid for a year, and then you can extend them. And after the second extension, you get like the 5-year or 10-year permanent residency card.
Wow, interesting project. First time I've ever heard about it. Exactly. I think I don't know about the name Cryptocity, but I would have called it Bitcoin City. But you are doing crypto anyway. It's not my thing, but people want a crypto, they can crypto. But I'm surprised you didn't give it a name which was a bit more like, I don't know, something to do with Margarita. Like.
I mean,
Margaritaville or something.
The other name we had working in progress was Colonia del Mar, which means like ocean colony.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I'm from a crypto background.
But it sounds like you only want crypto people there.
It's not only crypto people. Most of them are not crypto people.
That's what I mean. It sounds like, when I look at it, it makes me think, it's like, crypto people.
I mean, I made it kind of hard on me in retro perspective because if somebody has the word crypto and then hears Venezuela together, the initial impression is this is 99.9% scam.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But then again, hopefully they've done their research, which is actually it's probably a pretty good barrier to entry anyway. Well, look, thanks. I think I'm going to wrap it up there, but thanks for revealing all. It's very
great. I have to go to the airport anyway and hop on the next flight now to Argentina, next conference.
Really? Which one? What's it called?
It's from a group called the Mavericks, really interesting project. The Mavericks project, ultra high net worth individuals preparing together for the end of the world. Basically, that's what it is.
How come I've never heard of these? What's it called? Mavericks.
Mavericks project.
A conference for high net worth individuals preparing for the end of the world.
Basically. I was there last time. I thought I'm going to an investment conference. 3 days we talked about buying your own farmland, doing your own food. Where the fuck should I go? Get the fuck out of Europe. Yeah, and they told me stuff which was completely new for me as a German. Like,
how long have you been in Central America? You sound like you're fluent in Spanish and stuff. You've got a good sense.
I'm in Venezuela since 4 years.
Yeah. What do you think of the Argentina thing? Do you get much?
I mean, I like the guy, like running around with a chainsaw and putting socialism to the trouble, It's hard for me to say,
What about Bukele? Opinion on him?
I mean, he did a great job of getting his country being safe, right? I actually got invited to a show in El Salvador in the TV, right? The ambassador, the diplomatics guy called me, and I was like, "Hey, sorry, Venezuela and El Salvador are not on the best terms. If I'm gonna go there on a TV show now, I'm gonna get kicked out of the country, so I can't do it. I'm sorry."
Why aren't they on good terms?
They beefed on Twitter.
Who? Venezuela and
Bukele and the president beefed on Twitter.
About what?
I don't know, man. He called him an old-ass dictator, and he called him like a dick-sucking young boy. I don't know. The Twitter beefs are not the thing to understand.
Stay out of it. Well, anyway, Tim, thanks. It's been fascinating. It sounds really interesting. It sounds very crazy and unusual as well.
Yeah.
But another bow in the spring. Another string in the bow of this kind of network of people doing very different things, and I'll put if anyone's interested, if they want to try and pass the test
the
again,
voting, exactly.
Check the show notes for this, and obviously you can contact Tim directly. I'm sure
Are we gonna do a Zoom call and looking at you if you're maybe?
Do you want to sit in front of 50 Germans and get judged? Hell no.
That sounds pretty sadistical, right? But you're not gonna sit in front of. You're only gonna sit in front of me, and the video is gonna be sent.
Oh, you're right. You don't even have to be there. All right. No, anyway,
it's only me.
Nice talking to you, mate. Thanks for coming in, and good luck with everything.
Yeah. Thank you.